Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, it is that time again where I watch The View so you don't have to. You're welcome. You're also paying for my therapy bills for this. So former president of ICE, Thomas Homan, has just been appointed by President-elect Donald Trump as the new border czar, and a much better one than Kamala. The View, something tells me they're not going to be happy about this. Roll it. Here we go.
Former head of ICE, Tom Homan, has just been picked as border czar for the upcoming administration. And he recently went on 60 Minutes to justify the price that migrants and Americans will pay for his plan. Take a look.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if it's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there's. Families can be deported together.
I don't care what anybody's opinion is on illegal immigration.
He said what he said. Sure. Get deported together. I can already hear the bleeding heart liberals crying right now from a distance. Can you hear them? Can you hear it?
When you create a crisis,
He said what he said.
All these other bad things happen. That's why we have to secure the border. And I don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, or independent. Border security is national security.
Yes, it is.
So perhaps that means that they will go back to the plan that was that both the Republicans and the Democrats were going to do at the border and was stopped by you-know-who. So maybe that's,
you mean
that's
Trump?
in his mind.
Say his name, Whoopi. You can say it.
You realize, I mean, it's chilling what he just said. You realize that when he says, yes, families can be deported together, what he is saying is that U.S. citizens can be deported. What he is
He
saying
did not
is,
say that, you damn liar.
if the parent is undocumented and they have U.S. citizen children or U.S. citizen spouse, or and you don't want to separate them, then let's deport the
That's
U.S.
a lie.
citizens.
That's not what he said. That's a lie. Do you see how she just completely lied and tried to redefine what he was trying to say? Oh, so what he means is that if you are an American citizen but you have children, then he can do this because he's adding beer. What did he say that, Anna? What did he say that? All he said was, to the woman's question, how do you not separate them? Let them get deported together. In other words, we're not going to separate families like we did last time because everyone lost their ever-loving minds when children were separated from their parents. So this time around, we're going to make sure that they stay together and leave together. And then come back legally. But here goes Anna with her emotional narrative bullcrap. Because he never said he was going to deport American citizens that happen to be Latin. Which, by the way, is a stupid scare tactic that I've been seeing all over social media from liberals who are upset that Latinos like me voted for Donald Trump. You know, I'm still waiting for ICE to come and get me. I was born here, idiots.
Look, Donald Trump won the electoral vote.
Scare tactics.
He's going to win the House. He won the Senate. For all effects and purposes, he's got the Supreme Court. They've given him immunity. This is what the country voted for.
Yes, we did.
This is, you know, a lot of people thought that when he talked about mass deportations, he wasn't being serious. I don't know how many times he had to say it for people to realize he was being serious. Well, if you thought he wasn't being serious, the appointment of Tom Homan today as border czar, and he will be in charge of a mass deportation program, the largest the country has ever seen, they say. And now Stephen Miller, as Deputy Chief of Staff, should let you know that he was absolutely serious. And when you talk about mass deportations, people think, oh, it's just going to be the criminals. There's not enough criminals, aliens in the federal...
No, it's anyone who came here illegally is a criminal.
What it means is grandmothers.
Yep.
What it means is brothers and aunts.
Yep.
What it means is abuelos y abuelas. It means your family members. It
people
means
who broke the law.
Colleagues.
Yeah.
It means your friends. It means people who are part of the society. And look, America, you know, those of you who voted for Trump, this is what you wanted. This is what you voted for. You screwed around and you're about to find out.
I echo all of that, right? I mean,
she thought she dropped the mic. No, you didn't, sweetheart.
Now,
who do you think she was referencing when she said, you effed around and now you're about to find out? She's not talking about Black Americans. She's not talking about Asian Americans. She's not talking about white Americans. She's talking about Latinos. That's who she's talking about. Because the narrative is that if you are a Latin person, you must have family members that are here illegally, or maybe you're here illegally. Do you not realize how prejudiced and how ignorant that perspective is? To assume that every Latino in this country who voted for Trump was voting against their own best interest because by default, we're all here illegally. Now, Anna, you may have immigrated here from Nicaragua, fleeing communism, good for you, but I was born here. I was born and raised in the United States of America, and I don't have any family members that are illegal citizens or who came here illegally. Not one. And I guarantee you there are millions of other Latinos just like me. So when you make statements like, we effed around, we're about to find out, you're assuming that we all have illegal family members that we're hoarding in our basement. And all you're doing is you're parroting prejudice. And you're parroting ignorance from people on the left who assume that Latin people don't actually belong here, but we're just here on loan. I mean, how crazy is that perspective? And she really thought she dropped the mic. You didn't.
The majority of the country apparently voted for this. And I think it's really loud and clear that what he said, he meant. And if you look at Homan's background, he was a contributor to Project 2025. He was a police officer, which I find really rich because he was appointed by a convicted felon.
Who would that be?
He also was a United States Border Patrol agent, a special agent with the former Immigration and Naturalization Service. So this is his thing. This is his background. But what I would like
so he's qualified.
Is
Great.
that there is no correlation between undocumented people and a rise in crime. That's statistically accurate. Immigrants, including undocumented immigrants, are less likely to commit crimes in the United States. So this notion somehow...
Tell this to the families who have lost family members, who were raped and killed.
I think is
Tell them that, Sonny.
I think this notion really is about otherization of people. I think it's about...
Because he's racist.
A culture war. And I'm sad for the country, quite frankly.
Well,
I'm sad for you.
The weapon...
You know what I would say to Sonny about that comment that she just made? I want you to go find the families of the victims who were raped and killed. Go to those families and tell them to their face. You know, I know you guys are upset because your loved one was killed, but statistically speaking, it's not really that common or doesn't happen as much at the same rate of people who were born here. So it's not really a big deal. You're not really that upset, are you? This is just false outrage, right? Let me tell you something. I don't care if it's 1 woman killed or 1,000 women killed. Anybody being touched, anybody being harmed, anybody being sexually assaulted, anybody being murdered is one too many. And the fact that you're putting a number on this and making it seem as though it's not that bad because, no, actually it is. And let's talk about the drug crisis that's happening with the drugs that are coming over from these South American and Central American countries that are going into the streets and killing who? All Americans, including Black and brown people. People you claim to always fight for. So don't sit here and tell me that illegal immigration is not affecting negatively our society, because it actually is. Like, how dare you try to sit there and create a scale of what's bad and what's not bad enough. Like, we're talking about women who were tortured, okay? Who were killed, who were tortured, who were sexually assaulted, who went missing. I mean, there are so many stories out there, and the fact that you're trying to minimize those stories because, well, it's not as much as, you know, the crime in this city from legal citizens doesn't really change the fact that those other crimes still happened because of our weak border laws.
There is a problem at the border, and there's been a problem for decades and decades.
Tell them, Sarah.
Every administration has come through here, and no one has fixed it. It ballooned in this last administration, and that's what the people voted on, a referendum on that. Because right now, one thing I've never understood, and I actually think we'll wait to see how this looks, but either we have laws at the border or we don't. We're asking people to get in line to come into this country while incentivizing people not waiting in the line. Like, we've seen things where sanctuary cities like California and Illinois, it's kind of like, get to the country, like kick the can. If you get to base, though, you're going to be fine. You also have Tim Walz signed into legislation in Minnesota that allowed undocumented immigrants to receive free in-state tuition. All of these are lovely in spirit.
The same Tim Walz who put tampons in boys' bathrooms.
In New York, they were giving $500 meal cards, and obviously we want to help someone for the humane interest.
Which is now over.
But there's a lifeboat here, and I think the rage about the border was also people here that are maybe insecure, homeless at times, making ends meet, and they can't send their kid to college.
Yep.
So that's the outrage of what I saw the voters say.
Absolutely right. I mean, if there's such an incentive to come over here, why would anybody want to wait in line? Wait years to get here legally, the right way, when you could just cut in line, claim asylum, get a debit card with $500 a week for food, get free tuition to go to school, get a driver's license, oh, and also free healthcare. I mean, it's a no-brainer. If I were an illegal person, trust and believe I'll be doing the same exact thing, because who wants to wait in line if you have politicians here in America who are stupid enough to say, here's a carrot, come. But also wait in line if you can. But if not, here are all these free benefits just for you. Meanwhile, actual American citizens who have been here for God knows how long, their entire lives, can't afford food, can't afford gas, can't afford to send their kids to school because tuition is so damn high, can't afford health care, have to remain sick because they're too afraid of having to pay a copay that they can't afford. I mean, the list goes on. So yes, we do have a legal process that nobody is following because Democrat politicians are giving incentives to be humane at the expense of Americans. I mean, look at what's happening in Texas. In Texas, overwhelmingly, Latinos voted for Donald Trump. You know why? Because they live in that border state and they are negatively being affected directly by poor border security. When you sit here and you say, oh my God, all these Latinos voted for Donald Trump, they must be misogynistic and racist. No, they're smart. They're living in a land right now that is not being protected because politicians don't care. That's why. So if Donald Trump comes in and says, I'm going to fix this issue, why wouldn't you vote for that issue? It's common sense.
What else would people talk about?
Yeah.
If they didn't talk about how badly we did. Yeah, we lost. And yeah, there are lots of questions.
Say it again, girl. Say it again.
But is somebody going to ask them at some point? It remains to be seen.
Say it again,
There are
Whoop.
questions.
Say it again. I had to be petty and add that last line. That was from a different segment from the same show, but I was just cracking up because Whoopi had to like begrudgingly say, yeah, we did bad. We didn't do well. You think? You lost everything. You lost every freaking demographic, every age group, almost every state. My God, I mean, he won every single swing state. He even had Amish people get out and vote. Amish people who never freaking vote. They got out and they voted for Donald Trump. So yeah, you just didn't lose, Whoop. You got decimated. Decimated.
Finish him.
And guess what? That means that Donald Trump, he has a mandate now because the people, majority of Americans, want what he's selling. That's why we voted for him. You're right, Anna. We got exactly what we wanted. A cleanup. So while you liberals in New York City are crying because, oh my God, he's so inhumane, the rest of us are thankful and happy because he's finally doing something to help this country. All you elites living on your glass houses up on the hill, just stay there. We got the rest. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this video. What are your thoughts about immigration? What are your thoughts about who Donald Trump has appointed, the new border czar? Are you excited about this? Do you feel hopeful about this? Let me know down below. If you enjoy my content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you know when I post a brand new video. And by the way, you're welcome making me watch the damn video. Peace.